Hey, hi there. My name is Richard Cranor. I am who am I? I am the writer of the original writer of GodMachine, and I directed the short film, GodMachine short film. As you know, we've had an IndieGoGo campaign going on for GodMachine, trying to raise funds for the feature. And so far, we've done pretty well. We're a little short of our goal, but at the same time, the campaign has actually exposed us to a lot of different people, and we've got some investors who are very interested in the film. We've presented to the Sci-Fi Channel. That's pretty cool. So things are looking pretty good, overall. Whatever money we continue to get will be spent. Don't worry. And actually, I think it'll probably go towards paying some lawyer fees for dealing with some of these contracts that I think we're going to get. So all that is good. So let's just talk about the movie a little bit. I think it's always a good idea to shed some light on why we're doing all this, maybe our reasons for it all, and my personal reasons, if anyone cares. I discovered that as I was writing this film, it's become sort of a mission of mine, I think, to try and hopefully someday unite a couple of things that are at odds with each other in our society, and that is science and spirituality, two favorite pursuits of mine that I don't think need to continue on at odds with each other like they are today. Around 29 years of age, I started going through, I'd been meditating for quite a while, trying to find out the answers. And I got one day. It involved me spontaneously chanting Sanskrit, doing a lot of other weird things that eventually put me in just for a brief period of time, in a psych ward, not very long. And probably would have kept me in there, and along with being heavily medicated and a lot of other things, had I not run into a Hindu guru who happened to live in Seattle at the time and told me what I was actually experiencing was what's called a Kundalini awakening in the East. In the East, they're a little bit more okay with weird stuff happening because they understand that consciousness is fairly large in scope. Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung are two biggest experts on the mind in the West. We're at odds with this sort of phenomena as well. Carl Jung had a much better understanding of it. He called it the dark night of the soul. And what it basically is my ego, your ego, which is the identity that we tend to focus on more in the West, is not the entirety of the psyche. In fact, the unconscious mind is really the larger part of all that. And the Kundalini awakening is basically a sort of reset that happens in the psyche from time to time, where a person, due to the trauma, due to just it being fate, decides to reboot the individual psyche, and it does that by purging the contents of the psyche, whatever's in there that doesn't do the ego any more good. It's a fairly trying process. It involves actually experiencing a lot of horrible things sometimes. For me, it was cancer. I went through 3 years of dealing with cancer. Divorce, which is not pleasant. Ran into some human traffickers in Cambodia. The list goes on. At the end of the day, it was about purging my unconscious mind, and it's a process that I had no control over. The Sanskrit that I was speaking wasn't actually spoken Sanskrit. It was involved these words called mantras that are often used in different philosophies. But these mantras are even called seed sounds. They're basically sounds that if you recite these mantras, you're basically, according to the Hindu theory, you are connecting to the primal reality of the universe that functions on a sound level or a vibration level. And when you articulate these sounds, your mind recalibrates, your individual mind recalibrates to larger reality. And so these sounds act like tuning forks. So I did that for a long time, and it was really disconcerting. But what I later discovered that I thought was really eerie was that Sanskrit is actually used by NASA to create artificial intelligence languages. Like, they've already figured it out too. They don't have quite the same understanding that I do now. And other people have gone through a Kundalini journey, but it's eerie how nature is already kind of working towards this end, which is to bring consciousness into matter. And that's what Sanskrit is, sort of the bridge between our mind, our soul, and matter. And these mantras are pretty much the same thing. They're using the same technique as string theory. And so that's the big revelation that I had. And that's my goal, is to kind of show how string theory is very similar to seed sounds in Hinduism. They're pretty much two different ways of seeing and explaining the same kind of phenomena. That the universe builds itself through vibration. And singing is string theory in action, according to the film. And that's, to me, this isn't science fiction. This is actually reality. So I've taken the red pill, and I've gone way down the rabbit hole, and I'm totally okay with it. And I hope that the film will I hope that all this leads to someday people seeing these connections as well, realizing that consciousness and matter are united, and that the gateway towards, I think, bringing artificial intelligence to life, and I think purging humans of trauma and getting rid of all this guilt and all these issues that we carry from generation to generation, is to journey into these places and figure them out individually as well as collectively. So I hope that all that rambling made sense. Probably did not. Sorry. But it can still give you money to make a good movie. I promise that it will be a good movie. It will not suck. We will have fun. It will combine these philosophical things as well as these good old-fashioned filmmaking, and together all of us, I think, can have a film that can do what science fiction is supposed to do, which is sort of to open up some doors for people, for us to walk through together. So if you feel like donating, please donate. Anyone who gives us over $20 from now until the end of this campaign gets a special invite to watch a special video that I created of me practicing my nunchucks. These nunchucks I have here, I'm not very good with them, but it's still kind of fun to watch me play with them anyway, because at one point I hit myself in the head pretty hard, and it fucking hurt. It really did. But I pushed on, because that's what you do, man, when you train.